morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date on years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the Smart Device application, This Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Xander, and I'm joined by...
B, and I'm going to see how long I can keep this family friendly before I start losing my mind and saying various swears, which I'm not going to say.
Well, don't Alice. We have one of her already. And we also have Proto Blob, Headmaster Blob. Good job, Blob.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Yay.
Welcome.
Anyway, today...
Yeah, B was talking, so I thought...
I'm sorry. Anyway, okay, today is...
Yeah, B was talking, so I thought I was not...
Am I lagging?
It kind of seems like it, to be honest. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not... Anyway, let's just move on up. Today is Freya's Day, also known as Friday. January, I got it right, accidentally. 6. This is gonna be a rough day. 2023. Anyway, Mr. Blob. Actually, no, B. Since you're new here, do you want to take an article? You can start us off in 1017.
No, man, I'm currently busy doing something else right now.
Alright. Blob, you there?
Okay, then I will start us off with the coronation of Knut. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, he's there. I can hear him. Crystal clear.
Something wrong with the connection, I guess?
No, it just seemed that, like, we were talking over
Nothing.
each other.
You cannot hear me, but you
I
can hear me?
I can hear you, Blob. I can hear you.
Oh, great.
It might be him. He can't hear you. Unfortunate.
Alright. Well, then I guess I'll go. 1017, we have...
I can hear him, yeah.
What?
Okay. Anyway, I'll start us off with... Yeah?
Wait, okay, what's going on here, guys? B, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, this is getting a little wacky here. I'm just gonna start us off. 1017, we have Canute the Great, crowned King of England in London by Leifing, Archbishop of Canterbury. 1066, we have Harold II. Harold Godwinson was crowned King of England after the death of his brother-in-law, Edward the Confessor. So it says here from my other source, following the death of Edward the Confessor the previous day, the Witan met to confirm Harold Godwinson as the new King of England. Harold was crowned the same day, sparking a succession crisis that would eventually lead to the Norman conquest of England. Well, that escalated quickly. Jesus. So, wow.
Yeah. Holy hell.
We also have in 1099, Henry V, crowned German king. Cool. So, Blob, are you there? Like, have you connected better?
Yeah,
okay.
He's here.
There we go.
He's here.
Okay, I hope it works now. Let me check.
1205.
1205, Philip of Swabia becomes King of the Romans.
Yep. And this was actually his second coronation, to be precise. Yeah, 1227 and 1322, so the next two ones in succession.
Alright, I guess. Alright, in 1227, Ferrand of Portugal was freed from the Louvre, and in 1322, Stephen Uros III became King of Serbia.
Yeah. With the first one, Ferrand, I remember the Louvre. It was It was a castle, so I think it might have had a prison at one point. Now it's a famous art museum. But it used to be like a Renaissance era castle, I believe, or a palace or something. But obviously
Really?
taken from the royals and given to the people, and they turned it into a museum. But with this other one in 1322, Stephen Uros III, crowned king of Serbia. This happened after he defeated his half-brother Stefan Constantine in battle. His son was crowned young king in the same ceremony. So that's interesting. We also have in 1352, French King Jean II introduced the Order of the Star. What is the Order of the Star? Let's have a look at that. Let's see here. And I see that my stream is a little choppy, so sorry for anybody who's watching this. My internet is not the greatest right now.
No clue.
So,
Probably some.
Sorry?
Something's up.
I still didn't hear that. Are you there?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Legitimately, I legitimately cannot tell you. I'm here. Yes, I'm alive. It's something on your end.
Okay. Well, I don't know. It might be that Pineapple Express that's coming. We're getting bombarded on the coast with a whole bunch of adverse weather. So it might be that. Anyway, I guess I'll just continue until things get better, question mark? Like, oh, well, it looks like my stream, nope, I'm having trouble with my stream right now. Anyway, let's just keep on going if anybody can hear me. I'll read another 3, hopefully things get a little bit better after that. We have here, Order of the Star, in French, Ordre de Aediatore, or Company of the Star, was an order of chivalry founded on this date in 6th of November 1351 by John II of France in imitation of the Order of the Garter founded in 1348 by Edward III of England. So for further reading on this subject matter, yeah, it's definitely my end. Like, my internet's being really laggy right now.
Oh, yeah, it is, but I just checked the stream. You're fine.
Okay, thank you. But for further reading on the Order of the Star, please refer to the underbar of the description. A link to the Wikipedia is there now. Let's see here. I'm going to keep my eye on Michaelis here, just in case. Yeah. Okay, so we're having some lag difficulties here, but we're going to keep on pressing on. Let's see here. We also have in 1355, Charles I of Bohemia was crowned with the Iron Crown of Lombardy. He was King of Italy in Milan. So that's that happened. Can you guys read me live yet, or am I still lagging?
Yes.
No, you're fine, man.
All right. Let's try Blob. Let's try some 1449 here for you.
In 1449, Byzantine Emperor Constantine XI is crowned at Mistra.
Interesting. My source called it Maestras. So is it Mistra or Maestras? So I'm going to do Maestras, Maestra. So whichever one of the other ones. Let's see here.
I hope it's not a myth.
What?
The internet will tell you.
Wait a minute.
The internet will tell you after all.
Yep. 1453. Hold on. Am I...
What?
Okay, this needs to move on up over here. Hold on. Copy.
Receiving and not working.
1453. There we go. Can you...
Alright, Emperor Frederick III becomes Duke of Austria.
Alright. I have one in 1492 that is not on the website here. It says the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella entered Granada at the conclusion of the Granada War. So, dang. But I have a 1497 here for you.
In 1457, Jews are expelled.
Oof.
Oh my god, I think the lag is horrible. In 1497, Jews are expelled from Graz in Styria, Austria. That's Steiermark.
Ah. Uno Mas 1501.
All right, Jeronimo Monastery. Construction begins on Portugal's Jeronimos Monastery, designed by architect Diogo de Boitaca to commemorate the return of Vasco da Gama from India, and of course Vasco da Gama was a famous seafarer.
Yes, he was. Famous explorer. Let's see here. Check out what this monastery looks like. If the internet loads it. Come on, internet! Stop being such a poop today. Come on. Alright, well, wow.
Yeah, you have like 5 seconds left, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I have one here that's not in the website as well. 1536, the first European school of higher learning in the Americas, Colegio de I believe Santa Cruz, that should have been, Santa Cruz de Tlatelolco, was founded by Viceroy Antonio de Mendoza and Bishop Juan de Zumaranga in Mexico City. All right. And finally, this monastery loaded, and that's a pretty cool looking monastery there. I don't know why I'm pressing my luck by trying to have the internet load an image on top of everything else that's happening. Thank God I'm not trying to upload right now, as I had planned last night. The other videos from other people in the OMNI Coalition. But yeah, so I'm seeing the smaller versions of these pictures, and that's a pretty cool looking monastery. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Anyway, Mr. Blob 1579, if you don't mind. Are you there?
In 1579, Northern Habsburg, Netherlands, counties of yeah. I think the lag is really bad, and
yeah.
Maybe you should read it all.
Alright, yeah, I'm sorry, but if you don't mind, I'll just hammer the show out myself. I appreciate the audience, though.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to have to reset my router after this. Sorry. I don't know. Anyway, 1579, Northern Habsburg, Netherlands, counties of Artois and Hainaut and city Douai signed pro-Spanish and pro-Roman Catholic Union of Arras, Unie van Utrecht. Well, all right. That was 1579. Yeah, the Union of Arras united the southern Netherlands under the Duke of Parma, Ottavio Farnese, governor in the name of King Philip II of Spain. So that's the same one, yeah. So I'm gonna copy and paste that into here. More information to roll into each other. So let's see here. All right, 1617, English court favorite George Villiers was made Earl of Buckingham by King James I. All right, 1617, yeah. 1622, Pope Gregory the 15th formed Congregatio to the Propaganda Fide, whatever that is. 1639, Virginia ordered half of its tobacco crop destroyed to support plunging prices to avoid an economic catastrophe. This was the first colony to order the destruction of crops. Yeah, and yeah, right here it says the destruction of surplus crops, specifically tobacco. 1641, during the Araku War, the first Parliament of Quilon was celebrated, putting a temporary hold on hostilities between Mapuches and Spanish in Chile. Huh. 1649, the English Rump Parliament voted to put Charles I on trial for treason and other high crimes. Yes. 1832, alright, let me add that in real quick. Let's see here, copy, paste, and yeah, so I'll keep that up there to keep my eye on things. So let's see here, 1661, not on, oh, here we go, the 5th monarchists unsuccessfully attempted to seize control of London. Yeah, the English Restoration, the 5th monarchists unsuccessfully attempted to seize control of London, England. The revolt was suppressed after a few days. So, 1681, first recorded boxing match was engineered by Christopher Monnick, 2nd Duke of Albemarle, his butler versus his butcher. That's not nice. So he's literally having his servants fight for him. Can you say, like, Roman emperor? Come on. Wow. 1690, Joseph I, later Holy Roman Emperor and son of Emperor Leopold I, became king of the Romans. Nice. 1720, the Committee of Inquiry on the South Sea Bubble published its findings. What is a South Sea Bubble? Like, Committee of Inquiry. Let me check that out here real quick. So, while that's loading up, I'm going to move on up into 1721. The Committee of Inquiry on the South Sea Bubble published its findings, revealing details of fraud among company directors and corrupt politicians. So they published the findings twice. And I'm actually not gonna, like, harm my internet any more than it already apparently is. So that way... Oh, my stream is done. Okay, well, then I guess, I'm just gonna continue recording then. My internet just decided to close the stream. So... Oh well, I guess this is going to be a pre-recorded show. 1745, Bonnie Prince Charlie's army drew to Glasgow. Huh. Let's see here. Yep, it says here, that my stream. I don't know what the hell's going on with my stream. 1773, Massachusetts slaves petition legislator for freedom. All right. 1781, the Battle of New Jersey, Major Francis Pearson and his men defeated invading French troops. So yeah, in the Battle of Jersey, the British, under the command of Major Francis Pearson, defeated the last attempt by France to invade Jersey and the Channel Islands. Huh. So, so they were trying to... that's interesting. They tried to invade the U.S. Well, not the U.S. They tried to invade the colonies in their efforts to help us defend ourselves against the British, which is like really, really crazy when you think about it. Both of those countries had to come all the way over here to fight. Meanwhile, you can literally see one another, in some areas of the Pas-de-Calais. Anyway, 1784, Turkey and Russia signed the treaty in Constantinople, or a treaty signed in Constantinople. Okay, so. But we also have in 1802 a historic expedition. Naturalist Alexander von Humboldt and Amy Bonpland reach Quito, Ecuador. Let's see here. Now it's 1802. 1809. During the Napoleonic Wars, the invasion of Cayenne by combined British, Portuguese, and colonial Brazilian forces began. All right. And let's see here, you were in 1832. So, yep, so you're next here, 1832. So, copy, yeah, here you go. New England Anti-Slavery Society organized in Boston. Nice. Really nice. Yeah, good call right there, 1832. So I'm adding that in here right now. And I'm not sure if you can hear me live or what, Mr. Blob. I see you're muted. Yeah, I'm hoping that because the stream died. So you hear me on, like, is my stream still live on YouTube? Because it says here that my stream is ended. So that's weird. Because it kicked me off. No. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna move on up here to 1838. Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail demonstrated their telegraph machine in New Jersey. Alright, got to add that in here to 1838. Oh, well, I already have. In New Jersey, Samuel Morse, Alfred Vail, and colleagues demonstrated a telegraph system using dots and dashes. This was the forerunner of Morse code. So I have a slightly more explanational article right there for that. 1839. The night of the big wind, the most damaging storm in 300 years, swept across Ireland, damaging or destroying more than 20% of the houses in Dublin. Dang. That's not good. Yeah, it says here, a 2-day storm off Irish and English coast, immortalized as the big wind. Sounds like my dad after eating too many beans. So, well, we also have in 1842, 4,500 British and Indian troops left Kabul, massacred before reaching India. I think I remember hearing about that. Like, India. No, would Constantinople be in India? No. I don't know. The big wind caused by beans, yes. But let's see here. We also have 1853. U.S. President-elect Franklin Pierce and his family were involved in a train wreck in Massachusetts that killed his 11-year-old son, Benny. That is awful. My other article here says Franklin Pierce, the President-elect of the U.S. at the time, and his family were involved in a train wreck in Massachusetts. And didn't mention anything about his son dying, so that is awful, and I gotta add that in there. 1857, patent for reducing zinc ore granted to Samuel Wetherall in Pennsylvania. Nice. 1861, Florida troops seized federal arsenal at Apalachicola. I don't know how to pronounce that. About that same time in 1961, you'll head away here, but continue here. Okay. 1961 as well, or 1861 as well, the New York City mayor proposed New York become a free city, trading with North and South. So this is, I believe, just after the start of the Civil War. I'm not going to look anything up right now. Actually, well, the internet is laggy, so I'm just going to, if anybody's interested, go look it up yourself and tell me if this was before or after the Civil War in the comment section below, please. I heard a voice, I think. But it's not replying to me immediately, so I think I'm still lagging. Anyway, 1870, the inauguration of the Musikverein in Vienna. I know I completely totally botched that, and Blob is listening to this being like, oh, that's not how you pronounce that. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, Musikverein? I don't know. We also have in 1873, Pope Pius IX encyclical on the church in Armenia. Alright. 1873, U.S. Congress began investigating the Credit Mobiler scandal, a fraud by the Union Pacific Railroad and Credit Mobiler of America in the construction of the first transcontinental railroad. So I remember talking about this last year, and I don't think it was anything to do with like credit cards or anything like that. It was like something specific for the railroads. Credit. It has something to do with railroads or trains specifically, if I remember correctly. But anyway, we're going to go on up into 1880. We have record snow covered in Seattle, 120 centimeters, which I have no idea what that is to feet or inches, but yeah. 1883, Ontario Rugby Football Union forms, so that's pretty cool. 1887, Abd Allah II of Harar opened the Battle of Shelenquo with an attack on the camp of the Shewan army of Negus Menelik II. Negus being, I believe, Ethiopian for king in their native language. So, 1893, okay. Let's see here. We also have at that same time, while that was going on, yeah, so, yeah, yeah, so I have that copy and paste. 1893, the Great Northern Railway connected Seattle with the East Coast. Nice. And at that same time in 1893, the Washington National Cathedral was chartered by Congress. The charter was signed by President Benjamin Harrison. So this is when they were like, okay, let's build a cathedral. That's pretty cool. I've been there. It's big. I believe it's the biggest cathedral in the Western Hemisphere, or at least in North America. I'm not sure Western Hemisphere, but what's funny is, like, if you compare it to a lot of the cathedrals out in Europe and everything, it's small. Those cathedrals out there are big. Like, they're gargantuan. Like, I'd love to go visit that. But anyway, we have here in 1896, Cecil Rhodes, a British businessman and imperialist politician, why can't I read, resigned as Premier of Cape Colony. So yeah. 1898, the first telephone message from a submerged submarine by Simon Lake. And this was not wireless. This was, I believe, a wired tethered submarine, but they submerged just to see if they can, transmit from underwater, which they found out they could. So, that's pretty cool. 1900, the Boers attack at Ladysmith. About 1,000 were killed or injured. Jeez. During a Boer War. At that same time, 1900, Maurice Ravel's Albarado di Gracesio premiered in Paris. And yeah, I know that's on the list over here. That's from, I believe, my phone or from another source. I believe Stoen found that one from a year ago. I'm going to move on up here to 1906. Maurice Ravel's Mirrors premiered in Paris. And 1907, Maria Montessori opened her first Montessori school in Rome. Yes, the Montessori private schools. Good stuff there. So, I almost went to a Montessori, or maybe I think I did. I know I went to Aladdin Lassie. I don't know what that is, if they're even still around or what. But I did go to a French preschool. Learned some French, and the only one I retained is Ferme la bouche. Anyway, we're gonna move on up here to 1907. Actually, no, 1912. German geophysicist and meteorologist Alfred Wegener presented his controversial theory of continental drift in a lecture at the Geological Association, or Geologischen Vereinigung, I guess, at the Sennenberg Museum in Frankfurt. Alright. So, so that's essentially like tectonic activity, continental drift, the theory of Pangea, all that stuff. So, in direct contrary to a conversation we had in another Discord server last night. So, anyway, 1912, New Mexico was admitted to the Union as the 47th U.S. state. Welcome to the States, New Mexico. 1913, attempting to end hostilities in the Balkans, the London Peace Conference broke down because Turkey's refused to cede Adrianople, the Aegean island, and Crete. So, more war, I guess. That's unfortunate. 1914, a stock brokerage firm of Merrill Lynch was founded. 1921, the Iraqi army was formed. Hey, we get to fight them later. 1924, actually, hold on a second. Yeah, 1924, Francois Poulenec's ballet Les Biches, choreographed by Bronislava Nijinsky and danced by the Ballets Russes, premiered in Monte Carlo. That's pretty cool. 1925, a lot of these faces I recognize. I recognize all of these faces, and not for good reasons, any one of them. Mikhail Fruzzi replaced Leon Trotsky as People's Commissioner of Military and Native Affairs, Minister of Defense, as Trotsky and Joseph Stalin battled for power in the aftermath of Vladimir Lenin's death. And we all know who won that one. It wasn't Trotsky. Tell you what, So, but then in 1925 as well. Let's see here. Yeah, I read that one. Mussolini formed a cabinet composed entirely of fascists in Italy. Yep. I'm talking a lot about Mussolini recently. So, 1925 as well, we have Paavo Nurmi set indoor record 4-minute 13.6 second mile and 14-minute 44 seconds, or 44.6 second 5,000 meter. That's pretty fast right there. So let me add that in here to the show real quick. I am getting very hungry. So, anyway, 1928, Pope Pius XI published encyclical Mortalium Animos against Irkumene, whatever that means. So, 1929, Mother Teresa arrived in Calcutta to begin her work amongst India's poorest. All right. 1929 as well. King Alexander of the Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes suspended his country's constitution. This event is known today as the January 6th dictatorship. Oh, well, that's a little interesting to have that name there, with knowing other thing that's going to be reporting on, coming up here soon. But let's see here. We also have in 1930, Australian cricket icon Don Bradman scored 452 not out for New South Wales versus Queensland and Sydney. Then world record individual score in a first-class match, runs scored in 415 minutes. Oh, blazing Mikey, that's a pretty crazy wicked cricket right there, I tell you what. We also have in 1930, Clessie Cummins arrived at the National Automobile Show in New York City, having driven a car powered by one of his diesel engines fitted into a Packard sedan from Indianapolis. Oh yeah, so 1930, the first diesel engine automobile trip in a Packard sedan completed. So I did have that in here. So let me add that actually down here. underneath you. Oops. There we go. That sounded wrong, so there we go. Let me add in my hyphen there. All right. 1931, Thomas Edison submitted his last patent application, which, as Blob has recently realized, that Thomas Alva Edison was a complete and total D-bag. So yeah, let's thank the lucky stars he finally stopped stealing from people at that time. Anyway, 2 years later, 1933, Clyde Barrow killed Tarrant County Deputy Sheriff Malcolm Davis after walking into a trap set for another criminal. Whoopsie. So, like, oh, this trap is not meant for you, but let me catch you anyway. No, miss me with that. We also have 1936. Barbara Hanley became Canada's first woman mayor in Webwood, Ontario. Why is that not highlighted? For a leftist source, you'd think that'd be highlighted, but I guess not. 1938, a bronze memorial statue of Henry Hudson was erected in the Bronx. Nice. We all know Henry Hudson being the navigator who, discovered and navigated the Hudson River, and then met a very grisly fate along that same river when his crew mutinied and then sent him and a couple of his loyalists adrift to the banks, and they were never seen or heard from again. That's a really sad fate for somebody like Hudson. But anyway, 1940, we got a mass execution of Poles committed by Germans in the city of Ponzan and Warthigo. Obviously during the Second World War, so rough stuff there. 1941, U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt made his four freedom speech: freedom of speech and worship, freedom from want and fear, during his U.S. State of Union address. We can use him now, more than ever, tell you what. 1942, Bob Feller enlisted in the Navy and reported for duty to Norfolk, Virginia. He was a Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, so when the chips are down, the people stand up and do things. This reminds me a lot about, what was his name, Andrew Tate, I believe? The football player, that might not be the right name. I think that's somebody else. No, it's definitely not Andrew Tate. Why can't I remember the guy's name? But back in like 2003 or whatever, it's like this really good football player. And he went to go fight, and unfortunately he lost his life in the line of duty, fighting against terror overseas during that war. So, but we have a lot of people who step up. Those are the real American heroes right there, the real U.S. heroes. But anyway, we're going to move on up to 1946. Pope Pius XII published encyclical Quimamdumum, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce these things. We also have in 1946, the first general election ever in Vietnam was held. Cool. Vietnam, of course, being a property of France until, the 50s when they started revolting in North Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, and all that stuff started happening. And then that lasted all the way up until the late 70s. So, yeah, long, rough road ahead of you guys, Vietnam, from this point in history. In 1947, the Pan American Airlines became the first commercial airline to offer a round-the-world ticket, the Pacific Clipper. So, if you want to fly around the entire world, now you can. At this date, all the way back in 1947. That's pretty cool. 1950, Britain recognized Communist Government of China. Okay, that's questionable, but okay. 1951, during the Korean War, beginning of the Gangwon Massacre, in the course of which an estimated 200 to 1,300 South Korean communist sympathizers were slaughtered. Yikes. That's not a good look on our side. Gonna move on up here to 1957. Elvis Presley made his 7th and final appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show. Well, dang. Let me add that in here real quick. And let's see here. 1958, Gibson Guitars launched their Flying V electric guitar model, eventually being used by Albert Collins, Jimi Hendrix, Mark Bolan of T-Rex, F. Fave Davies of the Kinks, and Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. The ZZ Top, huh? Well, that's cool. So let me add this here into my frickin' script. That's the word I'm thinking of. That's really cool. So, yeah, the introduction of the Flying V guitar. That's awesome. 1960, National Airlines Flight 2511 was destroyed in midair by a bomb while en route to New York City, or from New York City to Miami. That's really sucks right there. 1960 as well, the Associations Law came into force in Iraq, allowing registration of political parties. Alright, so that sounds like a good thing right there, a little bit of freedom, maybe, if it actually works. 1963, Lionel Bart's musical Oliver, based on Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, and featuring a young Davy Jones, opened at Imperial Theater, New York City, running for 774 performances, winning 3 Tony Awards. Nice. So let me add that here into the script as well. Badoop, Lionel Bart's hyphen. So, 1964, the Rolling Stones' first tour as a headline act with the Ronettes. All right. 1967, the Milton Berle Show last aired on ABC TV. Okay. I don't know why that's, but okay, you know, cool. Anybody interested in that show, like, might be a fan, I'm not sure. But at that same time, and this is not a really good story here. 1967, 2 homemade buses collide on a mountain road in Turpet, Philippines, plunging off a cliff, killing 88 and injuring 140 more. That is really unfortunate right there. So, yeah, I have it right here actually, so there we go. 1968, the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour album goes #1 and stays #1 for 8 weeks. Really cool. 1968 as well, Dr. N.E. Shumway performs first U.S. adult cardiac transplant operation. Cool. Like, that's a heart transplant right there. So, first adult heart transplant, 1968. At that same time, Surveyor 7, the last of the series, was launched by the U.S. for a soft landing on Moon. So, hopefully we get to cover that soon, a little bit. 1969, the Supremes released the single I'm Livin' in Shame. That's unfortunate, but, yeah. 1970, Australian boxer Johnny Famchoin retained the WBC featherweight title with a 14th round knockout of fighting Hiranda in Tokyo, a rematch of questionable 15-round decision in 1969 in his first title defense, mate. Well, look at that. 1971, Berkeley chemists announced first synthetic growth hormones. That's cool. I think. Like, actually, no. Like, I don't like synthetic things. That brings questions, you know. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it. I want to try to see if I can hammer the show out, you know, in under an hour, but I'm not sure if I can. Anyway, 1971, Neil Young returned to his homeland of Canada for his first concert there since his pre-stardom days. Wow, so, yeah. Going back home, sharing to them what he brought from there. But at that same time, actually no, 1 year later, in 1972, we have the U.S. Female Figure Skating Championship was won by Janet Lynn, and at that same time, the U.S. Male Figure Skating Championship was won by Kenneth Shelley. And then, while they were winning that, 1972 as well, Vladimir Bukovsky was exiled from the USSR. 1974, in response to the 1973 oil crisis, daylight savings time commenced nearly 4 months early in the United States. At that same time, 74, in the United Kingdom began a 3-day work week during an energy crisis. And then, 1975, Wheel of Fortune debuts on NBC TV. At the same time, in 1975, 1,000 Led Zeppelin fans waiting overnight inside the lobby of the Boston Garden for tickets to the group's February 4th gig to go on sale caused a riot and an estimated $30,000 in damage. Yeah, don't mess with the Zeppelin heads. 1976, Ted Turner purchased the Atlanta Braves for a reported $12 million. Dang. So, entertainment mogul, turning into sports maggot or something. I don't know. Magnate. I don't know. Anyway, 1977, EMI Records drop punk rock group Sex Pistols. Yep. As Blob has mentioned before, they only have one album, and that's where all of their one-hit wonders have, banged from. And, yeah. And we spoke about Sid Vicious the other day, or the past couple of days, actually. Anyway, we're going to move on up into 1978. The first postage stamp copywritten by U.S., the Carl Sandburg stamp. Cool. 1978 as well, the U.S. hand over St. Stephen crown to Hungary. And then 1980, the beginning of the first GPS epoch. Ooh, that's cool. And just like it's honestly like I want to look this stuff up, but yeah, we're not live streaming, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to upload this on my own server as well. That's unfortunate. But first, I gotta when I'm done with the show, I gotta reset the internet. So anyway, 1980, we did that as well. Indira Gandhi's Congress Party won elections in India. Cool. Yeah, this is she's not related to Mahatma Gandhi, a different Gandhi, but still. 1980 as well. We're just stuck in the 80s, aren't we? Phil Flyers set a National Hockey League record of 35 straight games without a defeat. Nice. 1981, 50th hat trick in Islander history. John Tonelli scored 5 goals. Cool. 1984, Challenger moves to Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center, Florida for a meeting of STS-41B mission. As we all know, the Challenger did eventually blow up at one point or another. I think it was the Discovery was the first and then the Challenger. I don't know. No, the Challenger was the first. Anyway, in 85, we have the AFC Championship, Miami Orange Bowl. Miami Dolphins defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 45-28. That's a little rough right there. Not as bad as this next one, though. While that was happening, the NFC Championship at Candlestick Park, San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers defeated the Chicago Bears 23-0. Get stomped. So, 1986, British Defense Secretary Michael Hellenstein resigned after the Westland affair. And I'd really love to look that up, but yeah, like the internet is shaky as best, as I say, and I'm trying to stay on Discord here, so I don't want to have a complete shut off. 1986, Impala Platinum fired 20,000 black mine workers in Johannesburg. That's not cash money. That's really uncool, bro. Why are you firing only those guys? Anyway, while that awful thing was going on in 86 as well, STS-61C was scrubbed at the T31 seconds before, or T31 sec. Oh yeah, so T minus 31 seconds. Because of liquid oxygen valve problem. So, wow, that was close. Can you imagine 31 seconds to launch? Nope, scrubbed. Like, the amount of times they've scrubbed launches and stuff. Can you imagine all that preparation? You're sitting up in that little capsule for hours and hours. Like, oh, we found a random, missing paint chip. The launch is scrubbed for a month. What? This is BS. But you gotta be utmost safe with things like that, launching people into space on the tips of controlled explosions. We've lost a lot of people that way, and Russia and stuff like that. Anyway, we're gonna move on to 1987. The 100th U.S. Congress convened. Nice. And while that was happening in 1987, astronomers at University of California see the first site of birth of a galaxy. That's cool. I'd love to look that up, man. It's really too bad the internet today is being such a crap. 1991, George Serrano Elias was elected president of Guatemala. And while that was happening, the Portland Trail Blazers defeated the Seattle Supersonics 114-111 before a sellout crowd at the Portland Memorial Coliseum marks the Blazers' 600th consecutive sellout at home. 1992, President of Georgia Zayed Gamasugarida fled the country as a result of the military coup. At the same time, 1992, the U.S. government urged doctors to stop using silicone breast implants, outlining the health effects. And we also have in 1992, let me copy and paste that here, we have Sachin Tendulkar completed 148 versus Australia at the SCG. That, of course, is cricket. So, we have in 1993, Bill Wyman announced he will leave the Rolling Stones. Ooh. 1993 as well, 55 Kashmiri civilians were killed in Sopore, Jammu, and Kashmir by Indian Border Security Force units. That's not nice. I wonder if they were trying to storm in or something. That's really not cool. 1993, Gene Miller discovered Comet Mueller/1993A. Alright. 1 year later, 1994, U.S. figure skater Nancy Kerrigan was attacked and injured by an assailant hired by her rival Tonya Harding's ex-husband during the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit. The assailant was also Tonya's bodyguard. In banter/look up. I remember I put a note there because I did not have the confidence in me to remember things that I wanted to do as I was making the script for the night before. And yeah, I'd love to banter and talk about it now, but oh well. And I'm planning on I'm going to cut us off at the year 2000. So like, as if, making the first switch, I'm just going to end today's show at that point. So anyway, 1 year later, 1995, Atlanta Hawks, we have a chemical fire in the apartment complex in Manila, the Philippines, led to the discovery of plans for Project Bojinka, a mass terrorist attack. Dang. And while that was happening, Atlanta Hawks coach Lenny Wilkens passed the legendary Red Auerbach to become the NBA's all-time winningest coach with 939 career victories. Hawks defeated Washington 112-90 at the OMNI. Not an OMNI affiliated with us, and winningest, that sounds made up, but it is an actual word. It sounds like something your 3-year-old would say, but look it up. That actually is an actual legitimate word. It blew my mind when I first heard about that myself. Don't get me wrong. But we also have in 1996 the Hopman Cup tennis in Perth. Goran Ivanisevic and Iva Majoli won Croatia's first title at 1 rubber apiece. Switzerland's Marc Rosset and Martina Hingis was forced to retire at 3-6, 7-6, 4-5 in the deciding doubles rubber. So dang. So let's see here. That's 96. So let me add that in here real quick. Hyphen. And then we also have in 1998, Barry Switzer resigned as Dallas Cowboys coach. While that was going on, Don Sutton was selected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And on this date, January 6, 1999, an agreement was reached by the NBA and the Players Union to end a 204-day lockout, which shortened the season by 50 games. And as much as it pains me to say, I am going to close this out for the day because of the internet problems. But I try to put in as much of a show as I could. As you can see from my script, we still have pages of articles left. But I've been talking by myself for almost for over a half hour at the very least, that much. So anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description for links to, like everything you may find interesting, these articles, these sources, everything, Omni Coalition, all that stuff. Go give every link a check. It's all worth it. Anyway, for your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Germany. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander, and I was joined by Headmaster Blob and B. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry for the internet problems. I am furious, honestly, because something happened and the live stream just kicked itself off after about 14 minutes. And we are now at 48 minutes, so I've been doing this solo for quite some time. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, until you catch us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Until then, toodles! Don't forget about our news show in a couple hours if you're interested in that stuff.